Hey, welcome to my video. If you're from my Instagram, I love you. And if you're not from my Instagram, love you all the same. Welcome to another Invisalign update. So I've been to my orthodontist's office 3 times in the past 2 weeks. So we're gonna talk about it today. But before that, a disclaimer, I'm not a dentist. I am not an orthodontist. I am not a dental professional in any way, shape, or form. So none of my videos on this subject are meant to be taken as advice or anything like that. If you have actual concerns or questions, ask the professionals, not a random girl on the internet. I'm just here telling you my story and my personal experience. So with that out of the way, let's begin. So in the last about 2 videos, I think I've told you guys that we're nearing the end of my Invisalign journey, and now we're almost at the finish line already. And with that being said, I need to update you on what happened. So the first time I went to my orthodontist office, I had a cleaning done. They also removed all of my attachments on my bottom teeth and also installed a wire down there. So basically it's like a metal wire that they bonded to the back of my teeth, and it counts as a permanent retainer that I'm basically gonna be wearing forever so that my teeth don't shift back. And in combination with this, I'm gonna be wearing removable trays, basically similar to the ones that I've been wearing this whole time, but I believe that I'm gonna be ultimately wearing those only at night. Now, I'm not sure quite what the procedure is like with the trays themselves yet because they haven't arrived. So I'll get into that once I know more about that, but this is what I know so far. So they bonded the wire to my bottom teeth. You know what? Honestly, I thought it was gonna be thicker, and I thought the material was gonna be, I don't know, more rough, I guess. I really don't know what I expected, but it's very elegant. You can barely see it. Basically, the only way you'd actually be able to see it is if I like tilt my head down, open my mouth super wide, and you actually search for it. Otherwise, it's really not noticeable. And I can't explain the feeling quite, but it really doesn't feel like I thought it would. So honestly, that's great considering the fact that I'm also gonna be getting one on my upper teeth as well. But we haven't got there yet, and I'm gonna tell you why. So back to the appointment for now. After the cleaning, after the removal of the attachments, and after they installed the wire, they told me that I should go get an x-ray done so that they can determine what they're gonna do with the upper teeth, specifically what exactly we're gonna do with my front tooth. If you don't know the whole lore about my front tooth, okay, I'm gonna make this very brief just in case you're not caught up. I had an injury. I fell flat on my face when I was about, I don't know, maybe 7 to 10 years old. I chipped like 60% of my front tooth and then it died off. And then when I was around 17 or 18, I believe, I had a full crown placed to replace that tooth. Now, in the years that followed, I thought everything was okay. And every time I went to my dentist appointments, they looked at it, they always said, yeah, everything's fine. So I was always under the impression that everything was amazing. And then right before I got my first tray put in my mouth, they discovered that the person who did that crown did a pretty abysmal job. It's not placed exactly where it needs to be placed. And apparently when he was cleaning out and like disinfecting my canal, he didn't do a good enough job of that either. So my new dentist, the poor guy, he literally had to clean everything out once again, since because of the Invisalign treatment, your teeth are obviously gonna shift and you can't have an unhealthy tooth because you don't essentially know how it's gonna react to all the shifting. So we had to get that completely fixed before I actually got my first tray. And even then, I was told that by the end of my treatment, we're actually gonna have to revisit this to decide what we're permanently gonna do with that tooth once we're closer to the finish line. And so now that we are, I had to go get an x-ray done just to sort of see where we're at now. And so then that brings me to my second visit to my orthodontist. And during that visit, they actually had to adjust the bottom tray of my Invisalign because I'm still wearing a number 20 until I get my new ones. But since we had the wire put in, obviously it doesn't fit anymore, and they should have actually adjusted it the first visit I was there. But honestly, it's my fault because I forgot my aligners at home. And after they did that, they also removed any other attachments that I had on my upper teeth. They removed all of that, and they also removed all of the hooks that I had in my mouth. So I haven't been wearing elastics anymore. And you know what? Honestly, that has been amazing. And you know, wearing them hasn't been the worst thing in the world by any means, but I'm so happy to be rid of them now. And so that brings us to visit number 3, where because they at that point received my x-ray that I did, we looked at it together, we had a little consultation about what we're gonna do. And apparently my front tooth is now healthy. It's doing well enough that they feel comfortable enough removing this crown and getting a newer, better one done. And that's a procedure that I think I have in a week, 6 days maybe. And since everything was okay, I also went ahead and got my teeth whitened professionally for the first time that day. I really don't know if you've been able to like tell on camera or if you even noticed, but I want to stay here and say a few words about it before we move on. So first of all, I've never had my teeth professionally whitened. I've tried just about every at-home method you can think of. So I've had the strips, I've had the gel, I've had like the whole systems with the LED lights, and some of them helped more, others not so much. I guess that also depends on like the person and their teeth, but for me, the strips never really helped. To be fair, the ones that I hear that work the best, I haven't been able to get. They just don't sell them in my country. Like for example, the Crest strips. I don't know about her, but other ones that I've been able to get my hands on here just really didn't do anything for me. However, the little gels with the LED lights, I used to use systems like those for quite a hot minute, and those did a pretty good job. But this was my first time getting them professionally done, and I have thoughts. So, did it hurt? No, not at all. Were my teeth a little bit sensitive after the procedure? Yes. And for about maybe 2 to 3 hours afterwards as well. It wasn't super painful. I wouldn't really describe it as a pain. It's more of like an ache. But to me, it kind of happened in like a different tooth every time, random, and it would just ache for a bit and then stop. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. They did give me this like gel thing in the office, and they told me to use that as a pain relief if I'm really feeling it, but so far there's been no need. Now, I want to say I did just get this done like yesterday at 7 p.m. So this is fresh, okay? So I might still need to use that, who knows? But I've drank since then and I've eaten and I'm good. One thing I am noticing though that I'm not sure you guys will be able to, because sometimes the camera, because of the light, doesn't pick all of this up, but I have these like spots on my teeth, and I'm told that that's pretty normal and that those will like straighten themselves out and go away within 24 to 48 hours. And I was also told that your teeth can whiten even further within the first day or two as well. And so within that time frame, because of all of that and because your teeth are very sensitive, there is a list of rules that you kind of have to follow, or at least I'm gonna be following them. And those are to not really drink anything too hot or too cold, not to drink like coffee, tea, or any colored beverages, anything that can kind of stain your teeth basically. Also, when it comes to food, nothing too like spicy in terms of turmeric or paprika, something that stains. And in general, just lighter foods for the first 2 days would be great. That's what I was told, so that's what I'm doing. It's a little bit of a hindrance, I suppose, but it's not that big of a deal. Also, I was told to use white toothpaste, not whitening, just white in color. And if I'm using a mouthwash, it should be sensitive and alcohol-free, not containing bleach as well. So that's kind of what I've been doing. That's what I'm gonna continue to do for the next 3 days, because I really am not trying to stain my teeth, and I'm gonna let you know how that goes in the next update. But honestly, so far so good. When it comes to results, I would say that definitely my teeth are like 2 to 3 shades lighter, but since they technically have another 48 hours to get even lighter, I'm not gonna speak on the final results quite yet. I'm also gonna update you on that later on. But for right now, you know what? I am satisfied. So next on the agenda, like I said, in less than a week, I have another appointment where they're gonna take this old crown out and fit me with a temporary one until they make the new one, the permanent one. And then I'll have to go back in for them to put that one in. And then one more time after that for them to fit me with the wire up top. And at that point, I believe all that's left is for me to receive my permanent retainer, and then I will officially be done with everything. And for right now, honestly, I can say I'm so glad that I went on this journey. I think that the results are very obvious, especially if you go and like look at some of my older videos, and if I see clips of myself talking, that's when I can really notice it, and in the mirror as well, obviously. So I'm very glad I decided to do this, and I will be talking more in depth about that in the future once I officially finish everything. But until then, if you have any questions, comment down below. I'd be happy to answer any. But again, don't take it as advice, and obviously go seek out professional help if you need it. But yeah, that's it for today's video. If you made it this far, I hope that a tooth fairy in a sparkly pink tutu visits you tonight. And if you like this video, then please consider liking, maybe leaving a little comment, sharing, subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.